Hello, so this is going to be a video which should be very simple, just can I make use of this awful refillable filter? So, for those of you that don't know, this is the Chinese refillable filters that came with, I think it was the TF1 or a similar sort of mask. Now, the mask itself is alright, but these filters are awful, and I did a video ages ago trying to fill it up with charcoal and everything, and I found even when you used quite good activated charcoal, the issue with these was that the capacity of the filter is so low that they just did not work properly. So I've washed out all the charcoal because they had a habit of leaking as well and making me cough. And I thought what I'd do is just see if I could fill it with something like basic cotton material, and assuming the breathing resistance isn't too high, does this mean that if you had some of these lying about, you could use them as a very basic particle filter? Now obviously this is going to be nowhere near as good as a proper like P2 or P3 filter. I don't know if it would even be as good as a P1 filter, you know, like an N95 P95 style filter. But the point is, just if you had one of these laying about, could you make some use of it? Because as these even come by default, the charcoal in them is such a low quality charcoal, and there's about that much of it in there that it's just not useful. It's where they say it's meant to be PA1, and the A1 being, you know, vapor protection level 1, it's really not. Like, it might do a little bit against nuisance smells, that'll be it. So anyway, the idea is that we'll try this first, you know, that I did the video with the other day. So if I unscrew this, basically all the components are of this is the bottom cover, and then two little, one of them's fallen there, and then basically two of these. So the idea is that we'll put one of these flush in there, like that, push it in so it should hopefully, yeah, sit in there like that. There we go. Now, let's see if I can basically get as much of this cloth in there as possible. And then, because this might end up being really, really horrible breathing resistance and making it unusable. But I just want to see. Obviously, cutting it to a smaller size cloth might help. But I wanted to try this rather than like cotton wool or something. So, let's try and shove that back in there. That might actually just about fit. If not, I've got another thing to try in a minute. I won't bother putting that other sort of thing on the bottom, because that's really not going to fit. And then, can we get that onto there, and then stretched close? Oh, not stretched close, but you know what I mean, tightened up. Probably not with this one. So, I might cut this in half at some point and try that again. But what I'm going to then try is using this thing, which was like that sort of helmet cover neck scarf thing. But this, I should be able to fold a few times, and then hopefully fit this inside. So if I have this like that, and then try putting this inside like this, hopefully, yeah, this looks more promising. I can get this to that sort of size. Pop this bit on top like that. Excellent, that's that sandwiched in as it's meant to be sandwiched in. And then we can put this bottom cover on. Right, so hopefully that should do what it's meant to do, you know, that it basically, air has to go through it and it has to be filtered. Now, as I said, this is not as anywhere near to the extent it would work, you know, with a proper filter. The point is, it's just basically, if you had one of these, could you use it for nuisance dust, which you can't even do with these by default, because the stuff they've got to keep the charcoal in is just so basic and awful. But let's try it. So there we go. Yeah, the breathing resistance isn't bad at all, actually. Let me take the filter off and see what it's like without having a filter on. It's easier, but it doesn't actually block the breathing resistance all that much. So there's no real way I can test this, you know, because it doesn't stop vapour. I can't spray air freshener or anything like that. But I think against nuisance dust stuff this would work, because it's like having a balaclava type thing. Or, you know, not even a balaclava, that's completely the wrong word. The point is, you know, it's a bit like having a bandana type thing, folded several times over your face, but there's a lot less breathing resistance. So yeah, this actually I think might work quite well. And as I said, I need to always stress this, because unfortunately, you know, people might think, oh, this gives me like really good levels of protection. It doesn't. the point is that, you know, it's better than tying a cloth around your face, especially if you've got the face piece, because a lot of people have these sort of gas mask face pieces. Well, not a lot of people, you know, a lot of people watching these videos do with like GP5s or anything. So if you've got one of these refillable filters, dump the charcoal out of it, give it a wash in the sink, dry it, and then yeah, stuff some sort of cloth in that you can breathe through, but it would give very basic filtration abilities. Layer it or whatever, or fold it quite a few times, pop it in there, and now you've got a filter, and I'm pretty sure these are actually GOST threaded, so they should fit on GP5s and everything as well. And you've got, yeah, a filter that should go on most of your masks and offer you very basic, and I do mean very, very basic, particle protection. But the point is that, you know, it's something, isn't it? So I'm going to take this label off, if I can get that off, because obviously the label serves no purpose being on there now, because it's not even the same contents, and the label was invalid anyway. But sadly, I think it's going to be one of those labels that doesn't want to come off easily, and it doesn't. But at some point I'll get the label off, because it'd be quite cool having a see-through filter where you could just see the cloth in it. But yeah, so that's our very, very basic particle filter, made from just having, you know, a cloth-type material over it several times, and then in there. I suppose if you wanted to as well, you could probably get something like this, put that over, you know, cut a little segment, put an elastic band type thing over there like that, and then you've got another layer of sort of just filtration ability put there. Yeah, so there you go. As said, this is a very, very basic thing, and I literally mean basic in the most basic sense, but you can at least make some good use out of these for, like, maybe sanding something down or mowing the grass.